This is the book of Joel, chapter 3, verses 9 and 10. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. First and foremost, especially in these times today, I want to give all praises, honor, and infinite glory unto the Heavenly Father, Yahweh, in the name of his only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, in the name of the Holy Spirit, the Rakha HaKwadash. Double honors unto the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all the camps, the company of prophets of Great Millstone, GMS, who do rule well, who are the who have learned this 100% truth from, who are the true leaders of all Israel, Yasha Allah, today, whether you can receive that or not. Uh, uh, Peace, blessings, and salutations to the house of David, the tabernacle of David, those predestined spirits of election scattered abroad. All right, this is your brother Tazapanya of the Great Millstone, Washington, D.C. camp. Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Ratazah, the Heavenly Father, name of his Son, willing. This digital epistle, spiritual commentary, is edifying to the elect, going into another news and prophecy through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makakwadash. All right. So as you can see here, this is Steve Ram. This came out 2 hours ago. Breaking news. The U.S. nuclear warning issued as ICBM tests launch. So the world is testing the capabilities of their intercontinental ballistic missiles as we speak. Okay, as you have, what is it? Is it 5,000 or 10,000 U.S. troops that is being deployed to Iran, right? Um, North Korea did 10 ICBM tests, which he's going to bring out shortly here. All right. Um, the small hats, right? The state, the nation state of Israel is coming out with warnings that um, that there might be nuclear weapons used in the future. Okay. But the reason why I came out with Joel chapter 3 9 and 10 is because we are literally in the midst of these times. Let me go to Ecclesiastes 3. And this, see, there's people kind of don't usually do it no more, but there was a point in time, especially in the early 19, in the night, let's just say the 20th century, so the 1900s, right? As time went on and people started to use cell phones, smartphones, they stopped doing it. What am I talking about? The custom of men wearing watches. Why do I bring this up? Because knowing what time you're in, you're able to plan and gauge, all right, for the future, what you're doing now in the present and what has been done in the past. You are positioning yourself amongst the your individual self in your global timeline, all right, throughout the day. Okay, so I bring that up to say in Ecclesiastes chapter 3, I'm going to go straight to uh verse 8, but I'll start at verse 1 and then jump down. It says, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. Verse 8 says, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. So what time do you think we in? We're in a time of war. Okay, and the prophets, man, and it's crazy because this is how you know and why I constantly push in the beginning of my intros of the videos, the double honors into the elders that rule well, which are the elder apostles, the elder bishops, and the heads and elders of all the camps of Great Millstone, starting with Elder Apostle Tahar on down, because they have been saying this when nobody, the majority of billions of people on the earth did not see this coming, and yet we're here now. Okay, so they've been saying Have y'all remember them that famous sign that brothers would have, and it was a missile and it said USSR on it. When they was on 34th Street, all right, in Manhattan, okay, and people would walk by and look at that sign, and you had all types of Marines and Army men and Jake or Esau or any heathen nation. They'll look at it like, yeah, right, you know, because this was in the middle of the so-called Iraq, Afghanistan war, the war on terror, and there was a lot of pride into the Babylon's military. But see, we're in a time now where there's shameful spewing upon the glory of America, Babylon the Great. So now people are starting to really see, according to Habakkuk chapter 2, that the vision is speaking. Okay, that the prophecies that were spoken, and they were remembering. Y'all remember when them crazy guys that was wearing them dresses with the fringes on it, and they was yelling at people in the street corners, and they was talking about World War III and nuclear destruction, and we're in a time where they're saying that using nuclear weapons is not a far-fetched scenario now. Okay, but see, this is why in Ezekiel 33, I'm gonna get that, and then I'm gonna let this play. Ezekiel 33 and 33. Let's get that real quick. This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33 and verse 33. It says, um, and when now, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at verse 30. It says, also thou son of man, the children of thy people. So who is the angel that the Lord sent to Ezekiel? All right, talking to. He's talking to Ezekiel. Like I said, Ezekiel was a Levite. He was of the tribe of Levi of the nation of Israel. So his people would be Hebrew Israelites. All right. So it says, people are still talking against thee by the walls and the doors of houses. So they doing all of this sneak dissing in their cribs. All right. Ezekiel was a prophet. So Ezekiel will be going out there doing exactly what the prophets is doing in this modern day and age on the highways and hedges, making videos, just like today. Majority of Great Millstone camps was in the major cities in America and across the world, prophesying the downfall of Babylon. All right. Judgment unto specifically Idumea, these Edomites, so-called white people, these heathen nations, and then 2/3 in America of our people, you wicked Negroes, Latino, Native Americans. But then also to balance it out, prophesying salvation and goodness to the elect of Israel. All right, that remnant of you Israelites that is believing on the gospel. All right, and having faith on Yahweh Shai. Okay, so the ones that is wicked, they are talking in the walls and in the doors of the houses. Verse 30 says, it says, and speak one to another, everyone to his brother, saying, come, I pray you, and hear what it is, the word that cometh forth of the Lord. So they're talking against the prophets, but yet they're still wanting to see what they're going to say. So, for instance, like right now, I got 4 people watching. All right. There's a probability that 3 people or 2 people is really watching this for entertainment. It could be Edomites, could be heathen nations that's listening to me right now, or could be Wicked Jake that's just watching this for entertainment. Just to, let me see what he about to say right now, right? But they still talk against the camps. They still talk against Great Millstone and the true doctrine, the 100% truth that we push out. You see? Continuing on, it's verse 31. It says, and they come unto thee as a people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. So they're constantly watching our videos, but when we tell them, all right, to do this and do that, meaning, I'm not going to go through the laundry list because it's really not that much. There's simplicity in Yahweh Shai, all right? But the things that as learning of your nation and you're studying the scriptures, you're seeing everything that is required of being a son of or daughter of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Okay, we remember Baruch 4:4 says, "Happy, O Israel, for the things that was pleasing unto the Most High was given unto us." So we know how to please the Most High, but you're not doing the things that pleases Him. Remember in Psalms it says to kiss the Son, lest He be angry. When you go into the Hebrew for that word "kiss," it means to worship. Okay, and when you worship something, you're deeming something worthy. So why are we deeming something worthy? What was worthy of an action that the son did? The son would be Yahweh Shai. He laid down his life by not needing the wages of sin because he never sinned, which sin is what? Transgression of the law. So he never transgressed the law of Moses. So he was perfect in the law, all right? But yet he still died. So he got something that was he got a recompense that wasn't necessary for him on one level. Now, if you on a higher vibration, you do understand that he was Solomon in his past time, in his past life, all right, and he had to account for them sins. But in the vessel of Yahweh Shah 2,000 years ago, he did not sin. All right. But continuing on, it says, and they come unto thee as a people cometh, and they sit before thee as my people, and they hear thy words, but they will not do them. For with their mouth they show much love, but their heart goeth after their covetousness. And lo, thou art unto them as a very, very lovely song of one that hath a pleasant voice. So we're singing the new song, okay? We're not literally, on some R. Kelly type shit singing, on some Trey songs, on some Usher, Chris Brown shit, but it is symbolic for what music does to people. You play music, people dance. All right. If a certain tone frequency hits your earbuds, it's almost impossible if it resonates with your spirit to tap your foot or to nod, bob your head. Right. So what we're doing is putting out a vibration, the true doctrine of these scriptures, for people to react in a certain type of way, which is to dance, which would be to have faith on Yahweh Shah and rehearse the righteous acts to the best of their ability. Okay, by listening to the song that is being sung or preached by the prophets. But it says, and can play well on an instrument, for they hear thy words, but they do them not. And when this cometh to pass, lo will come, then shall they know that a prophet have been among them. So we've been preaching about these ICBMs, all right, for years, for decades, okay? Before I came into the truth, the apostles and the bishops and the elders have been doing this thing. I've entered into other men's labors because what they're speaking is the truth, and there was a fire that was within me to join the fight, okay, spiritually. All right. So without further ado, we're going to get some of these current events and filter it through the scriptures.
Coming out today, March 14th, 2026, we're hearing that the Trump advisors are warning about a possible escalation to nuclear attacks. This coming as today, also March 14th, 2026, we saw 10
So escalation means what? Like if you go on an escalator, right? You're going from a lower floor to a higher elevation, right? First floor to the second floor, right? So when there's a progression, okay? So when Yahweh Shah said the beginning of sorrows, okay, beginning has to have an end. Okay, so we're literally sorrow is going to increase, escalation amongst the wars that's going on, all right, in Western Asia is going to increase, all for prophecy's sake. So do not listen to anybody that is saying, oh yeah, well, it's going to be like that for a time and it's going to die down. No, it's not. Now they might have pullbacks, all right, but pullbacks is nothing but the Lord making sure that one prophecy is progressing before the next prophecy be fulfilled. Okay, because these missiles cannot fly until, all right, the MOTB, which is the RFID chip, okay, the small grain of rice that's gonna go inside your hand, or the computer chip that's gonna go inside your head, where you can neither buy or sell. And every person on this planet is going to be tempted to take it, according to the scriptures. All right. So continuing on.
EBM nuclear capable missiles launched by North Korea in tests. There is concerns about what the impacts might be, and there have been threats that have been issued from Iran of nuclear attacks against Israel. Let me go ahead and get you caught up on the latest so that way you can see it for yourself. Take a look at the latest headlines with me.
So now see how they controlling the narrative now. At first, they were saying whether it be the Samson option or Amalek using a tactical nuke on Iran. Now the news is coming out saying, oh, they Iran or Persia or Carmenia or Elam, however you want to, they're all the same people, all right, is going to use nuclear weapon on Amalek over there in the land, the small hats, the bastards that's dwelling in Ashdod, as the scriptures say, the illegitimate son, because they're not the true sons of Israel, right? So it's showing you there's a lot of misinformation, disinformation out here. You feel me? And but either way, things is going to escalate, and these ICBMs will be used at a certain point in time, but that's up to the Lord. Okay.
Trump advisor warns of possible Israel nuclear escalation in the Iranian conflict, warning about attacks against Israel. Israel attacking back against Iran. Now, this comes as many wonder about the United States, what a bomb would look like, what it would do. Websites visualize nuclear.
So look, so March 11th, 2026, they're coming out on Straight Arrow News. So this is the talking points in 2026, the year of apostates, agents, and sellouts in Jacob's trouble, man. You know, we are seeing, this is mainstream news now on what it's going to be like, what cities, how the magnitude of what even just a small nuclear weapon would do to American cities. They was not doing this before. So we're in a different type of time that we in, and we're trying. The prophets is prepared. Well, we're doing what the Lord is telling us to do anyway. We don't care if you listen, because our people are hard headed. But to keep it balanced, since our people are hard headed, the Lord made our heads as hard as adamant stone. Okay, so oh, y'all look stupid. Y'all could get more people if you talk a little softer, and don't cuss, and use the name of Jesus, or whatever. We don't care. Our head is hard as adamant stone, man. It says, for they, whether they hear or forbear, we got to do what we got to do, man. All right.
Attacks. I've shared with you these maps before, but we might revisit them again.
So on that, they're showing if something hit downtown Atlanta, and if you could see, if any, I lived in Atlanta before, all right, in Duluth, Lawrenceville area, which is the suburbs, because a real that ain't Atlanta, that ain't Atlanta. I live down, so that ain't Atlanta. You feel me? But either way, you know what I'm saying? It's the metropolitan Atlanta area. All right. And as you can see, if a nuke were to drop in Atlanta, literally the whole real Atlanta would be completely incinerated, right? And then from all the way up to Roswell, Dunwoody, Kennesaw, all right, Marietta area, Smyrna, all the way down to Riverdale, South Fulton, Stonecrest, Stockbridge area, almost close enough to McDonough, that would be pretty much total devastation and destruction on a 90% level. All right. And then it'll probably be on like a 60% level all the way to Carrollton, Georgia, Covington, Georgia, and past that, almost all the way to Athens. On the right hand side, you can't really see it, but it said if a nuclear bomb were to drop in the middle of Atlanta, 1,646,130 estimated fatalities in about 2.2 seconds. So almost 2 million people would die in that this. So see, and this is why this is technology from the spiritual world on the left hand side. Okay, because remember in the Old Testament, the Lord was able to open the earth, and people fell down and swallowed them up and closed the earth back when Israel was worshiping false gods, and mixing and mingling with these Moabites and these other Canaanite nations and things of that nature, right? And killing 70,000 people at a time, 90,000 people at a time. All right, plagues. When David, what you want to do when you committed adultery? You want to lose for war for a certain amount of time, or you want to, you know what I'm saying? And plagues would hit for 3 days, and 150 people, 150,000 people would die at one point in time. So the spiritual, the physical counterpart of the spiritual demon, Satan, wants to know how it feels like to birth or to unalive people at mass numbers, just like the God of the Bible would do. This is why they created the nuclear bomb, which is literally a device that is completely opposite or adversary to life. Atoms, when they come together, they make solid or matter, whether it's a solid, a gas, or a liquid. When you split that atom, hence your atomic bomb, and when you even go even further, you split the nucleus of an atom, nuclear fission, then you create a nuclear bomb, and you add hydrogen to it. Then you start to create this new type of what is it? Is a kiloton? I got to go back into it again. But basically something that's 100 times more powerful than Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Because remember, that only killed like 70,000 people at a time. We're talking about millions of people dead in 2 seconds, man. All right. This is the type of time that the Lord has given this spiritual power to. Remember Oppenheimer, if y'all seen the movie, he said that he quoted out of that Elamite, the East Indian, what is it called? Fuck. Uh, Whatever they holy book for the Hindu shit or whatever, and Shiva, the destroyer of worlds, and he would have these visions and things of that nature when he would go to sleep in order to make the the theoretical physics equations on how to do such a destructive shit. So the Lord allowed left-handed demons to work on his brain to give him these type of equations to give to the U.S. government, man. So these scientists were the smiths, all right, that bloweth the coals, as the smith, as the scriptures say. Let's go get that. The waster, right, to destroy. This is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I've created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. So this is the Lord's work. And I've created the waster to destroy, right? So he's the one who created the left-handed intelligent minds of these Edomites, specifically Temanites, because remember Operation Paperclip. They took Nazi scientists after World War II, and Germany was destroyed, and half of them went to Russia, and the other half went to America, and used them for their nuclear programs in order to create these nuclear weapons. So this is why it says, "Is there no more wisdom in Taman?" Because we believe the Temanites are the Germans, all right, because they're the most book smart out of all Edomites, because Amalek not really smart for real. He just has a deceiving, deceptful way on how to get money. You know what I mean? Because Amalek's father was Eliphaz, and Eliphaz, Allah Yapaz, all right, means my God is gold. So they literally worship gold or money, and that love of money is the root of all evil. So when you look at the evil amongst the world, the foundation of it that's why the wicked is being revealed, because Amalek is always behind it, because of the gain and profit that he can get from it. All right. So these nuclear physicists and scientists are the ones that is the waster that the Lord had created to create these things like this. All right.
Showing the extent of impact if we saw nuclear attacks against US cities. You can see here a map of Atlanta and how far some of these maps might reach if detonated on the United States. Now, we're going to be taking a look at that along with, I shared with you before, and I'll be sharing with you again amid these warnings, the top 15 cities vulnerable to potential attacks. They're saying that these would likely be the cities that would be the primary.
See, and the problem with these so-called truthers, they think that only a couple of nuclear warheads is going to be unleashed when that time comes. No, man. All right. We keep telling you, the prophets, the true men of the Lord, America is going to be uninhabitable forever. Now, this might sound crazy, but imagine the people that was listening to Noah. All right. People seen dew coming from the earth, but he said, listen, the Lord Yahweh, because he knew the name, is going to destroy everything on earth by water. These people is looking at him crazy because the spiritual things is foolish unto the carnal, for they are spiritually discerned, roughly paraphrasing that precept in Corinthians. So they can't discern when the men of great millstone and really majority all one westers is saying that America is going to be turned into the lake of fire and uninhabitable, right? Because of that is what the second death is in the book of Revelation. Because Revelation chapter 9, when it goes into 200 million soldiers, 200,000, which is King's English for 200 million, there's going to be 200 million warheads, and we believe it through the Spirit is going to be connected. I mean, look at what the weapon that Iran just came out with. One missile was able to separate into 80 warheads. that the Iron Dome in the nation state of Israel, their THAAD systems and their could not defend anti-missile defense systems. So if one missile could turn into 80, so you can technically have a ballistic missile that can travel from continent to continent, hence the IC and ICBM, intercontinental, from one continent to another. You don't need 200 million missiles. All you need really, all right, maybe 500 thousand missiles or a million missiles, you right, that can hold 100 to 200 nuclear warheads on it, on one missile. Because remember, they're saving the real finales of weapons for the end. All of this shit that they're using is old technology, man. Okay. Like we talking about fireworks shit. You remember how you would see a firework and that one little fire would go in the sky, and then it would spread into many color, green, blue, red, yellow, and it would be literally 500 or 1,000 little lights that come out of that one firework. That $1,000 firework that you bought in Tennessee somewhere, some shit like that. You feel me? So you don't think if that is on a low scale, they don't have shit like that on a high scale? Come on, man. All right. So this place is not going to be 15 cities or the whole from sea to shining sea destroyed. Then the only way out is through Yahweh Shai. So this is why we're prophesying to the elect, whether because we don't know who it is, you know what I'm saying? But and it's very soon to be sealed, because when they're fully sealed, then those four angels standing at the four winds of the corners of the earth is going to allow those winds, which is symbolic for the nuclear destruction, to be unleashed upon the earth, man. You see? And when that happens, it's game over. There is no way out. Period. Point blank.
Targets of a nuclear attack from our adversaries. Now, in addition to that, as I mentioned, take a look. This is why we're starting to see this coming out today, Saturday, March 14th, because North Korea has launched ballistic missiles after condemning the U.S. Israeli attacks on Iran today, March 14th. Now, we are hearing that this was a part of their ICBM testing, but very aggressive while condemning the United States. And also, we're hearing that they launched 10 of these out today. North Korea launches 10 ballistic missiles during the U.S. South Korea military drills. And also coming out today, concerns with Iran. You can see protesters host Quds Day rally in NYC shouting, "Shame, shame, USA," in the streets of New York. I'm going to be playing for you.
So imagine that, man. All right. So I quoted it earlier, so I got to get it. Literally, what is that? In Habakkuk chapter 2, it says, verse 16, "Thou art filled with shame for glory. Drink thou also, and let thy foreskin be uncovered. The cup of the Lord's right hand shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spewing shall be on thy glory." So you got people in the actual epitome of what America is, which is New York City, the Empire State. So this mind state that is in New York, all right, is literally the mind state of all of America and of the American regime. All right. So they're filled with shame for glory. So the glory that they once had is actually filled for shame. That's why I said shame, shame, USA. This is in the scriptures. You can't make it up. Drink thou also. So the Lord is going to allow America to drink the judgment that they have been given unto every. You've been bombing all these places. Remember, it says in Revelation 13 and 10, right? What is it? Verse 9, "If thou have an ear, let him hear. Um, for he that leadeth in captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword shall be killed with the sword." So hasn't isn't the sword of the Lord wicked? "Deliver me from the wicked, which is thy sword," in the book of Psalms. The wicked is the Edomites, pursuant to Malachi chapter 1 and verse 4. The board of wickedness, the people that the Lord have indignation forever, righteous anger, hatred forever. The whole nation of people, not just one person. All right, all of the nation of Edom, all of the Edomites, so-called white people, right? So these people, right, using America as the military spearhead, hence one of the three city states, the three unclean spirits, like likened unto a frog, being Washington D.C. / Langley, Virginia, Pentagon, right, in D.C. Okay, they are they're gonna have to drink of the judgment that they have been allowing all these other companies, these countries to drink, man. All right, you've been bombing everybody else, so you won't get bombed. Remember, give unto her double according to what she has done unto thee. Revelation 18. You see, Galatians 6 and 7. For God is not mocked. For whatever man shall sow, the same shall he reap. What has Esau sown on the earth? Revelation 6 talks about that hell and death follows him, man. And he took peace away from the earth, the red horse and the pale horse. Okay, you see, so what has he is the hammer of the whole earth. So the Lord is going to allow these other nations to hammer the hammer, man. Okay, it says and let thy foreskin be uncovered. All the wickedness and all the sins that America has done is going to be revealed. You go on TikTok, the majority you're going to see, well, I can't say that. If you get on the right side of TikTok, you're going to see a lot of Edomite women, some Edomite men, Keisha, and other nations kind of basically going into the history of America, man. And you look in the comments, they'd be like, damn, I learned more in this little 5 minutes than I did in my whole history classes in high school. Yeah. It says the cup of the Lord's right hand. And notice it's the right hand of the Lord, which is Yahweh Shai. So Yahweh Shai is going to be the one to bring judgment. Hence why all crowns, it was many crowns was on his head, because all credit is going to go to him when he destroys all these kingdoms. Babylon being the primary one. It says, shall be turned unto thee, and shameful spearing shall be upon thy glory. Right. So I'm gonna pretty much leave it at that because he's gonna go into it. But just know that this is the time that we in, man. We're in the time of nuclear war. That's all they talking about. And the more and more they talk about this, it lets you know that the mark of the beast is around the corner, because that has to come first. No other camp, not ISUPK, not IURC, not HOY, not LOY, not True Nation, not fucking GOCC, not fucking AOC, not WFI, all right? Not any of these other camps, not Sakari, not Masada, definitely not no believers of the way, not Israel of God, IOG, not what is it? Man, you got so many camps now just popping up out of nowhere. Basically, none of these other camps, all right, is preparing you people, all right, for what's to come, man, on a high, extremely high level, in detail, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So I'm gonna leave it at that, like I said. So Lord willing us to edify unto the elect. We in them times. We have to meditate on terror. We have to prepare ourselves for the revelation of Yahweh Shai. Because when Yahweh Shai comes, it's going to be a day of gloom, a day of darkness. You know, what do thee have for the day of the Lord? For it's not a good day, man, but it's going to be a good day for the elect. Okay, so Lord willing, we of that number, those that are presenting their bodies as a living sacrifice. All right, because our labors of love is going to follow us into them times. We're going to be able to withdraw from our spiritual bank account because we put our treasures in heaven, when nothing can no man can steal, or and it can't rust or rot, right? Isaiah 33 and 6, for wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. That stability is amawana, which means faithful, man. Okay. So the wisdom and knowledge of the scriptures is going to keep us faithful. What is faith? Hebrews 11 and 1, for faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things unseen. We don't see, but we're able to see in the spirit in the future that if we're of that number, the Lord is going to feed us in them times. He's going to allow us to drink in them times. He's going to keep us protected in them times. It's all the way up into the climax of the third woe, World War III. Because the second woe is past, World War II been past, but the third woe cometh quickly. All right, Isaiah 33 and 6 again, paraphrase. All right. Well, verbatim, because it's my favorite verse, one of my favorite verses. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times. For the fear of the Lord is the strength and the strength of his salvation. For the fear of the Lord is his treasure. So we're gonna feel strong. We're gonna feel that we are going to be saved because we didn't gave diligence to make our calling and election sure. That's that strength. Okay, because the one that can control the spirit is better than a man that overtakes a city, man. All right, because this thing is a spiritual battle amongst yourself first and foremost. All right, so the fear of the Lord is your treasure, man, and we persuade men by the terror of the Lord. So it was the beginning of wisdom, and that kept us on this journey with just us and Yahweh Shai as waters on one side and fires on another, and the road is straight and narrow, with straight being a position of difficulty. All right, and only one man can pass through at a time. You see, and as we're walking, we're keeping our eyes on the prize. Okay, so literally, man, we're coming into a time. Psalms 91. Many people is gonna be dying, 1,000 on one side, 10,000 on the right side, right? But we got to stay under the shadow of the Almighty, man, which is the protection of this truth. Hold on to this crown under unto death. All right, and the Lord is gonna reward us, man, for standing stiffly for the name of the Lord, which is Yahweh. All right, through His Son's name, Yahweh Shai. So with that, I'm gonna say Barak Yahweh, Barak Shai. On to the next one. Shalom.